this year was a big year for K-pop, and we wanted to talk and give a little shine to some of our best K-pop projects this year. And obviously, we do not get to everything, but we do our best to try to get to some of the bigger releases. How many did we get to this year?
Yeah, we got to a lot, and that's why we want to highlight our best K-pop album, single, and B-side, deep cut track. And that's because we covered a lot. I think by my count, we covered 15 K-pop records in no order. We did the Girls' Generation comeback, NCT 127, Chungha, ATEEZ, Blackpink, Nyan Solo, Twice, J-Hope, RM, New Jeans, ITZY, Twice.
Hmm.
Sorry, we did ITZY twice. aespa, Treasure, BB, and Stray Kids. I believe that's everything. And of course, we've been doing this for years in the past as well. So we are trying to cover it as much as we can because it's a exciting and vast genre that also gives us music on a consistent basis. So it's, I think, quite fun to keep up with and compare and contrast as things come out. And especially nowadays, into the 2020s, there's a lot of new groups and groups young in their career that are stepping up as like kind of the next wave of that fourth gen K-pop. So it's an exciting time, I think, to be paying attention. So that's why we wanted to, I think, really double down this year.
Yeah, you mentioned so many. Did you mention RM? Maybe I missed it.
Yep, yep. We just
Okay.
did that last week. Check
Yeah,
it out, Indigo.
RM. That one's been sticking with me almost as one of the ones I picked. But we're gonna do our favorite albums, or the best album from K-pop, and that as well as our best like big song, as well as a deeper cut as well. And I'll actually start because this is something we talked about a lot. And I mean, what more is there to say about Blackpink finally getting that album? Eight songs. So it is an album. Yeah, I put the Yeah Yeah Yeahs on my best album list. They only had 8 songs as well. So putting out the same uh product, or same at least length of product as the AAS. But Blackpink, I mean, from the moment we got Pink Venom as a single, it just felt like this was going to be huge. And I will say, surprising that Twice, as a group, it seems to be getting more love, at least through Spotify
Yeah,
metrics,
in the United
um,
States specifically, not
in the United
worldwide.
States. But I really loved this album. Pink Venom, excellent. Shutdown is on our Nowstalgia Best of 2022 playlist as well, because also a freaking banger.
Yep.
But even some of the farther ones. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shutdown is huge. Stay tuned for my songs list, maybe for more Blackpink. But yeah. Then right after that, you have Type of Girl. You
Yep.
have Tally. Like, I think it's exactly what you want from Blackpink in terms of their music. These big songs, these fiery raps from Jenny and Lisa. They sound as good as they ever have rapping. I think. Uh, yeah, I Born Pink is probably my second album choice for this year, and my only demerit is I just wish it was longer. Blackpink is so notorious at this point for being very slow and meticulous with how much music they put out there, and I just want to hear more because when they do put it out, it's so fun, it's so good, you know.
Absolutely agree. What was your favorite album this year, or best album?
Yes. So my number one album, K-pop album of the year, is Nayeon's solo debut, I'm Nayeon, which really surprised me. She's the first Twice member to go solo. I had no expectations going into this, but really, I think blew me away with like its like summery aesthetic. I think just sonically, it has this like lighter vibe, but it's still pretty up tempo and fun. You know, pop and candy floss and no problem. Just catchy song after catchy song. I think she sounds great as well, but like it's a perfect match, I think, with the production. So that was one that I think really had a ton of replay value, and I found myself going back to often.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Nyan was up there for me as well. Actually, as we're moving on to our best songs, Pop was probably my best K-pop song of this year. I mean, obviously, it has that Christina Aguilera vibe to it of like Candyman, but man, just so sticky and fun and upbeat. And in past years, we've talked about artists like Nicki,
Mhm.
who dropping in the summertime, just an absolutely
Right.
amazing pop song, and this is just in the same lane where it's just so fun to listen to, and every time you put it on, you can't help but smile and like want to dance around and just feel it. And Nyan, I think that whole album deservedly your best album of the year, and Pop my number one K-pop song of the year. What's your number one K-pop song of the year?
Yep. So my number one would be Blackpink, Shut Down. Spoilers for the songs list. When I heard Pink Venom, I was like, wow, this is great. Really exciting. I'm digging the video. I'm digging the dance practice video. I am hyped for Born Pink. And when you hear Born Pink, Pink Venom, followed up with the second single, Shut Down, I'm like, holy shit. They beat themselves. I don't know how they did it so quickly, but they leveled up right away again.
Yep.
Uh, right up there with probably my favorite Blackpink songs. Uh, just so big, it's so fun. Another really cool dance practice video. I think those like choreography videos they do are super good, super cool. And yeah, I think Lisa and Jenny are amazing on this. But also like Rose and Jisoo also kind of flexing, also kind of getting a little mean. It's just so fun to hear them honestly flex. Like that's what I love from them because like they're such rock stars, they're such superstars at this point. And like I want to see like the nice like fun ones like Rose and Jisoo would be like, nah, like we fucking got this shit. Like, because obviously I expect that from Jenny and Lisa as the rappers, but I think this is really fun. Like the overall like level of bite and like on that song. So yeah, it was my number two most played song of the year on Spotify.
Great song. One of the big reasons why that was my favorite album of K-pop of this year.
Mhm.
Um, for your deeper track, Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, so my deeper track is Girls' Generation, uh, Forever One, the comeback album, and off that would be Lucky Like That, which I was like, is that a single? Because it kind of felt like one. It was not, so it qualifies as a deeper cut. Yeah, man, I think just the harmony on that song is like
Mm,
untouchable. I think it sounds so good. Like it sounds so majestic the way they all sing together. And we reviewed that album. Really compelling to see like a K-pop group come together again 15 years after their career. They're on new label deals. Some of them aren't even on the same label anymore. To see like a huge storied group come back and release something so compelling in that way, like that album was, I think is really impressive. I love Villain off that album as well, but I think Lucky Like That, like the vocal performance is like up there, probably like one of the best, if not the best, like K-pop like vocal performances I heard this year.
absolutely, definitely a worthy choice. One of the biggest news stories in K-pop this year was that BTS is going to be going on a hiatus as they do their mandatory military service,
Hmm.
and planning to reconvene hopefully in 2025. It seems we just talked about RM, but one of the most surprising in the best way possible releases from this year was Jack in the Box from J Hope back in
Yep.
July. And what I found so surprising about it was how much bite and edge it had. And it was more rock infused, almost like 90s, like rock EDM infused, really interesting. And so my deep cut is more from Jack in the Box. A song that starts off with these like just like very sparse, like almost like distant drums. And he just kind of is like gliding over this at the beginning, and then it really like starts to rev up around the chorus, and he goes into this like distorted like I don't even know exactly how to describe it. It sounds like he's like singing down a hallway in a sense, but he's like screaming, and it's just so intense, and I just love the vibe of this song.
Hmm.
One of the most surprising K-pop songs that I listened to this year, and one I found myself going back to a lot more than others.
Totally. Yeah, I think if there was like a best surprise category or biggest surprise, it would definitely be him because J Hope was famous for being the top dancer in
Hmm.
BTS. You know, he was not known for doing a ton of the writing and production the way RM was. He was not known for uh, this really high register like Jimin. You know, he had his lane. He was part of the crew. You know, and yet I think that's why to me it was like so compelling. It's like wow, there's like so much more under the hood here. And yes, he had some solo work out before, but like yeah, it was really compelling. I think technically more is actually a single, but we'll let it slide. It's a good pick, good record. So yeah, I think the takeaway is there was a lot of compelling and variety across K-pop this year, and I'd expect that to continue as the genre continues to evolve. It's very fun to keep up with.